Mogadishu, hello, Condor 2314.
Today, we've got a big one for you flying on the flight deck with Condor on its gorgeous A330NEO, 11 hours from Frankfurt to Mauritius. We'll be cruising over East Africa and the Indian Ocean and learning so much from these amazing pilots along the way. Plus, don't miss the epic views at the end on approach. Let's go flying. Welcome to Frankfurt Airport. I'm on my way to go check in with Condor. We're heading to Mauritius tonight on the 330NEO, and I'm going to be in the jump seat. Let's go check in. It's going to be the gold/beige, depending how you look at it, livery. In the sun, I think it looks quite gold, and I think it looks quite beautiful. But let me know in the comments which livery you like best, because I know a lot of people have very strong opinions on this. Shall I hand him the passport again? Fake it? Basic travel fail. Travel 75 times a year, and I forgot to do the online immigration form for Mauritius. Now I have to fill out every country I've been in the last 6 months. I've been in Austria, technically. Trying again to check in now, second try. I've done the form for Mauritius. If you go to Mauritius, fill out the form online before you arrive to the airport.
The gate is B20 and boarding is at 7:25.
Mauritius.
It's a really productive day.
Yeah. Met up with the crew, the pilots for tonight, and they seem like a really cool bunch. We're going to be heading down about 11 hours to Mauritius, and these are the guys that are going to be taking us there.
My name is Björn. I'm very happy to take you to Mauritius today.
I'm Malte and I'm happy to be with you.
I'm Mike, the first officer, and I'm happy to fly you down there.
All right, let's do it. Sophia only gets to do the boring part today. She's here with us at the check-in part, and she doesn't get to fly to Mauritius, sadly. But that reminds me that you should be following our Instagram channel as well. If you don't already, FlightRadar24. Find us, I'll put a link in the description, and we'll be posting stories about this flight as we go. So you who are seeing this for the first time in a couple of weeks from now, you will have already gotten a taste on the stories prior if you're following, so make sure, do that. Suited up for flight radar work. No dogs here. Not the focus of the shoot today, but if you needed a reminder why Frankfurt Airport and the mess that it can be is worth it, 747s all over the place, and often kind of really nicely tucked in close to the gates. But we're focusing on the 330NEO today, which is also a beautiful airplane. Just needed this little aside, moment of appreciation for the Queen. This is a Dash 8. All right, welcome on board Romeo Quebec, the golden beige sand and beach liveried A330NEO. And as previously mentioned, the first Condor 330NEO that I'll be properly flying on, though we did videos about them before at the Airbus Delivery Center and then here when they arrived in Frankfurt to start their sort of cabin outfitting to get ready for service. And let's have a seat. Comes with a bottle of water. This nice adjustable headrest, which is already adjusted. Quite a bit of legroom as well. And I can tell you that this is quite a nice wing view as well from here.
It's for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and what I was too early for previously was to show these little travel set, little amenity kit, and a nice cardboard setup with the stripes, of course. And they're also handing out these cute little travel organizer pouches in premium economy. That's really sweet. I think this is such a nice touch to offer this travel organizer with the stripes. Just useful, something that you can actually use day to day, and it seems like a nice, solidly built. Such a fan of this kind of thing.
Okay, Gabriel, I will now show you the most important things of the outside check. It's quite easy to summarize. Just check that there are no fluids, neither oil, fuel or hydraulic. That's basically the main thing, but we go in detail now. So if you want, we can start here because we left the airplane on the aft exit. this is our life insurance, our engine. Make a visual check if no blades are twisted, any damage, any traces of bird impact, no feathers, no blood, nothing. What do you think? This part here, which I just now am caressing, how much of that one? Only this liner.
Must be very high.
You can buy 20 new cars just for that single thing. So don't touch too hard. Here you have to check that those little holes are not covered by dust or maybe by tape. This little vane is to measure the airflow, the angle of attack of the airplane. It needs to be free to move. Flew 16 years on the A320, and the nose gear of the A330 is even bigger than the main gear of my former A320. It's great. Yeah, we have enough damping function on the nose gear, no traces of hydraulic fluid, no burst glasses, the tires are okay, not deflated. No cuts, very good. Here we have measurements, the pitot and the Roseman probes for the speed indication. They need to be free as well, no obstructions, and it looks perfect as well, I like. When you look to the nose gear section, to the radome, you can see the closing mechanism. There are some safety latches, some safety locks. It sounds like a very small issue, but if the maintenance is doing some work and not closing it properly, the radome may fly away. So just make sure that everything is locked, like on this nose gear. We need now activate our co-pilot to make sure he can safely switch on the blue electric hydraulic pump, because we need hydraulic pressure for the hydraulic system. We will now contact our co-pilot to give him hydraulic clearance, so we get some blue hydraulic pressure on the blue hydraulic system. So these are the slats, so the forward part of the wings, and if you hit some birds you will see traces of blood there. Just make sure no birds kissed the slat. Looks pretty good. Did you ever see a Rolls-Royce engine from behind? Hydraulic fluid. So this is now a very detailed check. If you look onto the lower part of the wing, you can see a hole, and in that hole you see a white cross, because the tank is has not experienced overpressure, so it's working fine, like it is here. Okay, and now the big question, Gabriel, there's a red sign. You can see at the bottom of the APU there's a very small red dot. Do you think it's good or not?
Small red dot. I would guess that's good.
Yeah, correct, it's good. Normally everything which is red is not good in aviation. But in this case, red means the fire extinguishing bottle is active, now it's working. So this is the only case where red is good. And we started here and we will end it here. So let's check the last part now for today's check. The left-hand wing, the slats look good, the flaps look good, the red nav light is on. Yeah, we can go. Everything is great.
We've returned to a cabin full of beautiful pink mood lighting. This is very relaxing. Look at this. All right, let's get into the cockpit, shall we?
Key approach, and should we have no visibility at all, we can switch over for runway 07 right with an ILS approach.
Yeah.
But today the weather's great. It's a sunny day, so we see the runway, and it's the widest and longest runway anywhere near.
Just in case we have smoke in the cockpit or something, then we can take the autoland function of the ILS-7 right. Okay, great.
Otherwise, special non-standard, we have a special VIP guest today who's gonna watch us. Other than that, weather perfectly fine. I slept well. So this is one of the aircraft where we don't use the APU bleed for the takeoff, but we use the PAX off. So 20 seconds before takeoff, we need to switch off the PAX, wait 20 seconds at least. Perform our takeoff. Once we reduce our power to climb power, we switch on pack 1, then minimum 10 seconds after pack 2.
Okay.
Other than most of the other aircrafts.
47. Yeah.
0407, so it's some tailwind. So the tailwind procedure will be full stick down, thrust 50%, wait until we got 30 knots, increase thrust, and then standard.
30 knots, right?
30 knots.
30, I just want 40. Correct, perfect. Let's look at that. Any threats from your side, Gabriel? Are you fine?
I am fine.
Good.
Yes. Thank you very much. I see no threats.
Should anything happen, we will leave the flight deck via this door.
Ladies and gents, kids, a warm welcome from the flight deck. My name is Björn Freitag. A big thank you for being on time, very nice. Just about 9 minutes to go until we expect to leave the parking position. And on top of that, I would like to welcome Gabriel on board today, our VIP special guest from Flight Radar 24. Welcome aboard, Gabriel. Sehr schön. Passt. Super. Dann ist es so gekauft.
Decimal 7 up.
Straight up. Da wird nichts aufmachen. 236,7 ist in Ordnung. 10 Knoten Tail wird das knapp.
And stop margin 453 meters or 727.
449, 706. Nee, das ist der Unterschied.
Condor 314 for takeoff, runway 18. Perfekt. Wie bestellt.
On, and the brakes. Takeoff. Tuga SAS out of first blue.
Checked. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Nav.
Checked.
Rusty rated climb 2. Climb out of rust.
Und Back 2 geht on. Ist on.
Climb.
Checked.
Alright.
Schön. Welcome, flight level 127, Gabriel.
On our right hand side we have Stuttgart. That's where Mercedes and Porsche are produced. But let me see, that should be Heilbronn actually, Heilbronn and Neckarsulm, so that's where Audi produces its cars. So Stuttgart is a little bit further to the south, I think. It's hard to recognize right now. So this right here is our normal map, where we see the terrain and everything. And on the right hand side we have our internet weather forecast. There's nothing to see, so just as if you look outside the window, it's clear skies, so it should be a smooth ride. So minimum safe altitude above Austria, 14,500.
So are we on time for our arrival in Mauritius?
Planned landing was 5:30 more or less, so a little bit late. Maybe we'll get some shortcuts.
Yeah.
On block time should be 40. Right now we're landing 5 minutes behind scheduled on block time.
Isn't it crazy? We have 10,000 kilometers, right? Approximately, and only 4 or 5 minutes time discrepancy right now, or we can catch us.
Yeah. There's different ways of creating that waypoint. You can do it directly over here, or you can do it via the fixed info page as you need it. You just create it over here, you put in the name of the point, you put the mileage with the radius, in this case it was 5, then you can create a beam waypoint. Other way of doing it would be putting in the point over here, putting in a slash. Minus means before the point, plus would mean behind the point. Then you can put in the mileage, input it over here, and it's done.
And if you don't have any wishes, I can tell you I just entered behind us, in front of us.
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
Good.
What I did right now is, that's basically when we have available airports en route, we're always evaluating what airport would be a suitable airport to divert to in case of an emergency, maybe a medical emergency or if you have a technical problem or whatever. Then we can create equi-time points. Once we're at that point, it's the same time to either the one airport or the other airport. So that's the decision point where you then know if I reach that point, now I have to continue straight ahead, or before that point, it's faster to do a 180 and turn back. We have a page that says closest airports. There you see the 4 closest airports right now, and you have one field where you can enter another airport. Right behind us is Munich, and the airport we selected next would be Ljubljana. That's over here. Now you see it, Munich is 24 miles behind us. Ljubljana is 145 miles in front of us, and that's the equi-time point.
It's the most important point for that decision. So if we are in front of that point, so if we not reached it, we go back to Munich, and if we cross that point even by 1 single second, we go to Ljubljana. And that's what we do now until we reach Mauritius. So all the night long we do stuff like that.
Yeah, and that function is especially important when you're overhead remote areas. So for example, the North Atlantic or any ocean basically. Sometimes the equal time point means that you fly either 2, 3, 4 hours in one direction or in the other. That's what we use to have a mental picture, a situational awareness of what we're doing. That's why the secondary flight plan is a really good thing, because we can get the weather of the alternate airport, we can calculate the performance, we can put everything in here. I can basically take any point over here and enter. The flight plan I have in the secondary flight plan is basically the same as the primary flight plan. And now I can take the point ahead of us and I can enter a new destination. For example, Munich. Now I can leave Vrana. Now I have the present position, and now the aircraft will calculate its way direct to Munich. I can enter the whole arrival, what runway I want to land on. For example, I can calculate my performance setting. I can put in all the weather data and minimum, and then basically all the approach is set up. So once you need to take a decision fast, you're able to do it fast because you already have the information, you already have a mental picture, and that's why you can decide fast. If I'm just sitting around over here and then something happens and then I'm starting to gather all the information, then it's going to cost time, and sometimes you don't have it.
This is going into the direction to talk about canned decisions. So when he falls down, when the aircraft is in real danger, we have our decision already on our display, we just execute. That's the preparation which leads to the canned decision. And I'm pretty sure, Gabriel, that the viewers will now write comments like, they forgot to enter the wind here in our wake time point. Maybe you can pick up that one. Yeah, correct, we did not enter the wind for here. That's only because those 2 airports have a distance of 100 miles. So entering the wind here would just be a game around 10, 15, 20 seconds difference. Later on, when we are in remote areas, especially here, then we will for sure enter the wind. You see here, it's around hundreds of miles. Here we'll enter every single wind, because there it's a game around minutes, and minutes are very important to save lives, or save the aircraft.
For example, maybe 10 minutes ago, you heard me saying minimum safe altitude is flight level 145 overhead the Alps. That was basically also one of the things that I was doing. I was planning ahead. Right now we are overhead the Alps. The safe altitude over here is flight level 145. Should we have a decompression, should we have an engine failure, this is the lowest flight level we could go to have a safe distance to the mountains. That's also something you need to plan ahead.
Coffee time, my friend. There's no 1,000 to go.
Checked.
We can now jump onto our route maybe. We are now go Ljubljana in case of anything. But the next airport is a little bit more far away. We have Belgrade possibly. So I would propose after Ljubljana we talk about Belgrade.
Yeah, so we can check the weather, how long the runway is there any special NOTAM?
We have everything here in our EVAS system, and that what the pilot monitoring or pilot flying can delegate to check, and then we can prepare our route. So here we have Egypt, and then we are here in Mount Saudi Arabia, Jeddah airspace. This is a very nice corridor. You can maybe see this red colored corridor. It's a very special part where you need to change your flight level, not to get in a clash with other aircrafts. Once this is done, we will enter Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. In Ethiopia we have high elevation airfield. The next one is that one, Addis Ababa. It's a suitable aerodrome, but it's quite high, so performance-wise it's a little bit complicated. But once we cross Ethiopia, we will cross the Mogadishu airspace, Somalia, and then for a long period we see only blue water throughout the Seychelles FIR. We will pass Madagascar on the right hand side, start the descent towards Mauritius. That's where we want to go, a very small island with nice weather, and we expect to land there after or during breakfast time, so nice time. Grab a coffee there, go to bed after 10 hours of flight we did so far. That's the plan for today.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's another quality of ATC environment, and that's why we use a second set to talk with other aircrafts in flight broadcasting. The thing is, that specific airway is between eastbound and westbound, and that's why they instructed all aircrafts to use one specific flight level, southbound even, northbound odd. And if you don't do that, you will get big trouble here. There were already some incidents where aircrafts did not use the correct flight levels. And then what you don't want to have on a night flight is the TCAS resolution advisory over Africa, I can tell you. What is special about Somalia airspace? Let's say it's not only about Somalia, it's the whole eastern part of Africa. The ATC environment is not that perfect and not that standard what you expect or what you have in Europe or in North America, for example.
Even in Western Africa as well.
Yeah, okay. Let's say Africa. Thing is, it's a very big country with just a few ATC stations. That's why we established in the aviation an in-flight broadcasting procedure. You use a separate frequency and you talk with other aircrafts. So you make your own confirmation with other aircrafts on VHF frequency as a backup, because you cannot always rely on who is talking, what is he talking, is someone talking at least. That's why we have the in-flight broadcasting procedure.
It just looks better.
Yeah.
Good. Mike, if you think during our preparation we have some cargo which needs to be cooled,
Yeah.
can we check? I checked the air condition page. Ah, you see 8 degrees?
Yeah.
And we were supposed to make a cooling down between 2 and 8 degrees.
Yeah.
So this is fine as well.
I got a point actually. Many people always ask, oh, why is it so cold in aircraft? Or why is it so hot? It's really cool to see it over here. If I look at the temperature gauges over here, it shows what temperature each zone of the aircraft has, and the numbers over here show the temperature that the air conditioning system is blowing the air into. Our standard setting is somewhere about 22 degrees Celsius, which shouldn't be too cold, shouldn't be too hot for most people. And as you can see, over here we have 23 degrees Celsius, and it's pushing in the air with 22 degrees Celsius. So it's really close to each other, they should be fine. Same over here. But in that area, for whatever reason, the air conditioning system pushes in the air with 10 degrees, 8 degrees Celsius. So the air is blown in. It's a lot colder than the air you're surrounded by. And that's a phenomenon on the Airbus that has something to do with the sensors, with the way the system is built. We try to stay a little bit cooler in the cockpit. The cabin is right about the standard setting. And in some areas it does it smoothly, and in some areas it doesn't. And it's not always the same areas. So I've looked at it quite a lot. So when the flight attendants call us up and tell us, oh, can you make it a little bit warmer, a little bit colder? Yeah, we can turn the knob and set the temperature goal. But what the aircraft does in each section, that's a system logic that we don't really have access to.
Yeah.
That might be interesting if you maybe one day meet an Airbus engineer. Might be interesting to ask him
Yeah.
why it does that.
I go to Airbus a lot, so I'm definitely going to ask them next time.
And today was a special takeoff because we were departing with some tailwind. And for the A330NEO, that means we have a special takeoff procedure. because the engines are quite wind sensitive if the wind is coming from a strong crosswind or from a tailwind, and we were just below the tailwind limit. Therefore we departed runway 18 with 8 knots of tailwind, and that's the reason why we had to perform a toga takeoff. Toga means takeoff or go around power, which means we have the full available thrust for the engines. And those of you who follow pilot vlogs a lot know that we always try to only use as much thrust as we need to save the engine lifetime, because the less thrust you use, the longer the intervals can be in between the maintenance sessions, and that's more economical, but also it saves the wear of the parts, so it's also environmentally friendly because you can use the parts for longer. But sometimes in situations like today where we're quite heavy, we have a tailwind, that's not possible. Therefore we had to select the toga thrust. Therefore I also briefed it as a highlight when we were taxiing down to the runway. The other highlight was the tailwind procedure. Because the engines are quite sensitive to tailwind and crosswind, we start every takeoff with a strong crosswind or tailwind stationary. That means we have our foot on the braking pedals, we put in 50% of thrust, let it stabilize, then we release the pedals, we increase the thrust to 60% N1, you can see it. That's right now we're cruising with 85%, we put it to 60, we wait until we have a stable ground speed of 30 knots, and above that we put in either flex MCT or in today's case the toga power and take off. This procedure costs some takeoff distance. You have more wear on the engines, obviously.
That's why you needed sort of most of the runway to take off.
Yeah, that's why you heard that we weren't putting in the full thrust for quite a... Ich gehe ran.
Merci. Important question for you. Chicken or pasta?
Where were we? That's why you saw we've put in about 60% of thrust and rolled with a quite low power setting for quite some time. Later on in the edit you will see how many seconds it was. Until we put in the toga power. Engine stabilize, and so we don't have engine stalls or anything when you put in the power too quickly. I like to write down what's important, because a lot of time, if you scroll through here, you see there's a lot of text, but not all of this is relevant for me. For me, in this case, it's only relevant that this runway is closed. The rest is nice to know, but in case of an emergency, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. I try to filter it, and that's, for me, that's just the easiest way.
And you know, there's one very small item which is very hard for me to change in my mind. For 15 years, I checked the clock of the A320 there. I'm searching the clock. Ah, okay, it's here. The biggest change is the clock.
That's funny.
Did you just see the flashing light outside? On Mike's side, on his navigation display, we can see a little symbol which indicates a possible lightning area. And maybe just 20 seconds ago, we saw some lightnings outside the aircraft on the left-hand side. But good news, it's 40 miles left of track, so no factor for us. Just interesting and nice to see.
I familiarized myself with the chart, with the terrain around the airport, and we're able to fly there. Just to check if the airport is open, because not all airports are open 24/7, but this one is. And maybe probably most of you have seen videos of aircrafts and crews calling terrain, pull up, and stuff like that. And that's because the GPWS system, the enhanced GPWS system, relies on GPS data for its position and altitude. And once that's erroneous, the aircraft or that specific system thinks it's close to the ground. Obviously, there's a memory item for it. Usually, memory items means this happens, you react in a certain way. But obviously, in flight level 350, where we don't have any mountains at our level, you don't pull up the aircraft close to its performance limit. And that's why we disregard those warnings and have a higher situational awareness using the charts where we are, how high are the mountains, even more than we do normally anyways. So basically what they do, you give them the coordinates where you depart, in our case Frankfurt, so the aircraft knows where it was positioned. And then once the aircraft moves, the laser ring gyros, it's like a crazy technology. But to make the long story short, there are some laser beams that are reflected by mirrors, and when the aircraft moves, the laser beam has a phase shift, and the sensors are able to measure it, and by measuring it they can calculate your acceleration, and by that they can calculate your movement and your position.
We now need to check in at Cairo 5 minutes prior entering the Cairo FR.
Yeah, we can now save 900 kilograms of fuel by climbing 2,000 feet. We're gonna be slower for about 2 minutes, but as the winds have gotten better with the latest wind update, you can now see we're gonna arrive on time. So scheduled on block is 0540. We're gonna be on schedule, save 900 kilograms of fuel.
Alright, so as you may see, I'm no longer in the premium economy I started off in. I came back and it was just too tight back there with someone in the aisle to charge all my stuff, so I took an empty business seat and I'm gonna have my premium economy meal here.
What we can see is we don't have any GPS position right now.
So luckily we still have all these old systems to help us navigate.
Yeah. As you can see, it's coming and going. That's what we talked about earlier. NAV FM, GPS position disagree. Okay. Ecom actions. Okay. We still have our inertial reference systems, which give us valid positions and can navigate with them. Some systems are dependent on the GPS and therefore they're not working right now, but that's no major issue as long as we know about it. Earlier on we entered the checklist for GNSS jamming, and we have a whole list of failures that come and go when GPS signals are jammed.
Yeah.
So therefore we're cancelling them so that the next time we hear a chime we know it's something different we should take care of.
Got it.
Right now we're in Saudi Arabian airspace. That's the zone where we told you that on a separate frequency us pilots were broadcasting our position, because usually we had ADS-B reporting, so every aircraft was reporting its position and we were able to see them on the navigation display as well. And right now that is interfered, and therefore on this airway us pilots we report our position ourselves. Say right now we're in this flight level, overhead this waypoint, we're estimating the next waypoint, in our case the next southern airport, for example Dulab, at this time, at this flight level, moving southwards on this airway periodically, and the other aircraft as well, so we can build up a mental situational awareness.
And once you're past this section, you'll descend back down to 370, or?
Either descend back down to 370 or climb up to 390, depends on how heavy we are.
Schauen wir mal. Ich mache erstmal den Broadcast.
Yes.
Asmara FIR, position Raska 2345, flight level 380 southbound on airway Golf 650, estimating Tulab 2352, Condor 2314, flight level 380 southbound in the Asmara FIR.
Yeah, so we finally reached Asmara. They asked us where our when we will be at our exit point. The exit point of the airspace will be Konet, and he wants us to report overhead Asmara, which is right over here. Right now it's too far away to see the circle, but my colleague drew a little blue circle as a reminder that we call him over there.
So by reporting it to the company where the jamming occurred, we can give the information to other pilots so they know where to expect it at the moment. So remove status.
Remove status. Oh, it's right at the border.
Yeah.
But our required nav accuracy over here is bigger than 2 miles. I'm gonna emergency cancel the nav backup speed for me.
Yeah. Okay, confirmed.
Yeah, it's
You
because
changed
I
it
put it to
exactly.
5 as we told.
Yeah, perfect.
People always wonder, how do air traffic controllers separate the traffic? In most countries it's either by east-west traffic or north-south traffic, and when they do this like this with the odd and even levels, most of the conflicts already are resolved by themselves, so they only need to worry about crossing traffic but not about opposite traffic.
Switching briefly between the even and odd, that's madness.
Yeah, and it gets further complicated. Usually you follow just one airway and you have one direction continuously that you can follow, but due to all these restricted areas, due to conflict zones and so on, we now fly a combination of routes that sometimes require level changes and our attention.
What did you call the thing of just flying 2 miles to the east of the track?
That's called lateral offset procedure.
Strategic lateral offset procedure.
It gives ourselves a little bit of extra margin due to the ATC environment, which is not so super well. We communicate with other traffic on a separate frequency, and we just give ourselves a little bit distance from the airway where most of the aircraft would fly.
Yeah, you're supposed to never fly the same slop. One day you should be flying no slop, the other day you should be flying one slop, 1 mile right of track, the other day you should be flying 2 miles right of track. It really depends on the day and on the other traffic. For instance, when we fly to North America, we use it as well, and there we can usually see the other traffic, and if I see that the other traffic before me is flying 2 miles right of track, I can decide whether I take 0 miles or 1 mile. So now GPS is fully functional again, also ADS-B, so the people are now able to track us on Flight Radar 24 again.
That is a relief.
When we fly over Afghanistan, for example, where we don't have any ATC at all, we also put on the landing lights permanently.
On top of that, we have the TCAS system. Even if there was a conflict about traffic approximating each other, there would be a resolution advisory to clear the conflict and to give us guidance how to circumnavigate. So even if there was a mistake in air traffic control, for example, was a learning from the Überlingen accident when 2 aircraft collided.
Yeah, they're trying to develop a TCAS that is also giving lateral advice. Because right now it's only vertical. We enter Somalia via Vuzi. Moktu is the coastal point. You can see that it's 190 miles. So as an estimate, we can make Vuzi. We can divide it by 2. That's 95 miles. Put it over here. Now we have a pilot waypoint. Now we know that the equal distance point. Later on, when we arrive there, we can make an equal time point. Right now, we prefer to maintain the equal time point for the airport.
So in case we will have an emergency right now, we would go to Mombasa. It's a canned decision because we overflew the equitime point between Djibouti and Mombasa, and now in case of anything we would make a right turn directly Mombasa, runway 21, ILS approach.
Alright, we made it past Mogadishu, out of Somalia airspace, over Indian Ocean, pointed towards the Seychelles now. I'm going to get another couple hours of sleep and join them back again for top of descent and landing. See you in a few minutes.
Condor 231.
So, Mach descent alt blue, flight level 250 blue, descent via star within a managed descent.
Check.
Don't have any constraints. Today we're gonna be approaching runway 14 in Mauritius. That means right now we're already in descent. We're gonna fly straight ahead from T-Bag to Imkov
thereafter, we're going to fly towards the island. In that part of the island, we have higher terrain. So therefore, the glide path is steeper than usual. Usually we descend with a 3-degree glide path, and today it's going to be 3.5 degrees. So it's quite a lot steeper. A normal descent rate would be somewhere around 700 feet per minute on a standard glide path, and today it might be somewhere around 1,000, 1,100 feet per minute. And that's one of the challenging things with the A330 is that the wing is so aerodynamically optimized that it just doesn't like to lose speed. So as a pilot, you really have to plan ahead your speed management and your energy management. And therefore the recommendation from the company is intercept the glide path already with flaps 2 and the landing gear down to have enough drag to decelerate further on the approach and to be able to pull out more flaps. But it's not something you do every day, so therefore we prepare mentally and try to stay ahead. Should be good. Weather should be good so far. We're just waiting for the latest update, and I hope we will have a great view over at the island.
Bye. Very good morning, Condor 2314, passing level 290, descending to level 60, inbound IMCOF, estimated IMCOF is about 26 or even earlier. Condor 2314, clear, Dallas, Zulu approach runway 14, QNH, 1018, will go.
Yeah, I said QNH.
QNH, cross-checked, passing 11,200 feet now.
Checked.
Minimum.
Continue.
200. 100. 70. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. Da ist das Nose Gear. Welcome to Mauritius, and thank you to Mike for this good landing and for the very nice approach. Yeah, I would say it was the most wonderful view I've ever had on the A330. It was perfect. I like this job.
Best office in the world.
The best views in this flight.
It's crazy. We are on time. Almost exactly on the second. Almost. 10,000 kilometer right, and we are on time by a minute.
Keychain?
Wow.
Yeah, keychains for you.
What's that?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
It's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
customary to hand them out at the end.
Great. That's a unique
Nice,
item.
thank you.
Thank you. Alright, hope you enjoyed that beautiful approach to Mauritius. Super fun with Condor. All an amazing experience. I am tired after that 11 hours. I didn't sleep much. It was all worth it, but I'm gonna go to the hotel now and pray that they have a room for me early in the morning. Thanks for coming along, and for Flight Radar 24 in Mauritius, I'm Gabriel Lee.